In the forests of Eastern Europe, there is a house that walks. It stands on chicken legs. It spins to face visitors, or spins away to hide. Inside lives an old woman with iron teeth, a nose so long it scrapes the ceiling when she sleeps, and legs so thin they are described as bones with skin. She flies through the sky in a giant mortar, steering with a pestle, sweeping away her tracks with a broom made of birch. Her fence is made of human bones. The gateposts are topped with glowing skulls. Her name is Baba Yaga. And she is nothing like what the movies told you. In the West, Baba Yaga is usually reduced to a scary witch, the villain in a fairy tale, the creepy name dropped in John Wick. But in Slavic mythology, she is something far more complex. She is not good. She is not evil. She is a force. A boundary. A test. The people who encounter her either die horribly or gain exactly what they need. The difference depends entirely on how they behave. The oldest recorded Baba Yaga stories come from Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, Czech, and other Slavic oral traditions dating back centuries. The first written collections appeared in the 18th century, most famously in Alexander Afanasyev's compilation of Russian fairy tales, published between 1855 and 1867, which did for Russian folklore what the Brothers Grimm did for German stories. In the most famous story, Vasilisa the Beautiful, a young girl is sent by her cruel stepmother into the forest to fetch fire from Baba Yaga. The stepmother expects Vasilisa to die. Vasilisa arrives at the hut on chicken legs and finds the yard fenced with bones. Baba Yaga agrees to give her fire, but only if Vasilisa completes impossible tasks. She must sort poppy seeds from dirt. She must cook and clean the entire house. She must do everything Baba Yaga demands without asking too many questions. Vasilisa succeeds, aided by a magical doll her dead mother gave her. Baba Yaga, impressed by her courage and obedience but also suspicious of her magical help, gives her a skull lantern filled with fire. Vasilisa carries it home. The skull's burning eyes incinerate the stepmother and stepsisters. The girl who was sent to die comes home carrying death itself. This is not a children's story. This is a story about passing through death and coming out the other side transformed. Scholars like Vladimir Propp, the Russian folklorist who analyzed the structure of fairy tales in his landmark 1928 work Morphology of the Folktale, argued that Baba Yaga represents the guardian of the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead. Her hut on chicken legs stands at the edge of the forest, which in Slavic mythology is the border between civilization and the other world. To enter her domain is to enter the land of the dead. The chicken legs are not random. In pre-Christian Slavic burial practices, the dead were sometimes placed in small raised structures, elevated coffins or ossuaries supported by wooden posts. The hut on chicken legs may be a cultural memory of a death house, a coffin that walks, a grave that moves, the dead refusing to stay buried. Baba Yaga's iron teeth connect her to another world too. Iron was considered magical in Slavic tradition, a metal from the earth, forged in fire, capable of cutting through both flesh and enchantment. Iron teeth mark Baba Yaga as something not fully human. She eats, some stories say she eats children, others say she eats the souls of the wicked. Her appetite is part of her function. She consumes what crosses into her domain. But here is where Western adaptations get Baba Yaga completely wrong. She is not simply a villain. In many stories, she helps the hero. She gives advice, magical objects, or crucial information, but only after testing them. She asks questions. She assigns tasks. If the hero is brave, polite, and resourceful, she rewards them. If they are rude, lazy, or cowardly, she eats them. She is not evil. She is a judge. In some tales, there are 3 Baba Yagas, 3 sisters, each progressively more powerful and more dangerous. The hero must pass through all 3 to reach their goal. This tripling is common in Slavic mythology and mirrors the three-part structure of initiation rituals documented by anthropologists: separation from the familiar world, ordeal in the liminal space, and return transformed. The mortar and pestle she flies in are domestic objects, tools for grinding grain, for preparing food. They connect her to the hearth, to the home, to women's work. But they are also tools of transformation. Grain becomes flour, raw becomes cooked, nature becomes culture. Baba Yaga transforms everything she touches, including the people who survive her. Her broom sweeps away her tracks. She cannot be followed. She cannot be found unless she wants to be found. The forest path to her hut does not exist until you need it, and once you walk it, you cannot walk back the same way. The journey to Baba Yaga is always one-directional. You leave as a different person or you do not leave at all. Christianity arrived in the Slavic lands in the 9th and 10th centuries, the baptism of Rus in 988 being the most famous conversion event. As Christianity spread, the old gods and spirits were demonized or absorbed. Baba Yaga survived by becoming a fairy tale character, stripped of her religious significance, reduced to a scary old woman in the woods. But the structure of the stories preserved her original function. She is still the guardian of the threshold. She still tests those who seek her. She still rewards the worthy and destroys the unworthy. The Slavic world had an entire mythology as rich as the Greek or Norse pantheons: Purin the thunder god, Velis the god of the underworld, Mokosh the earth mother, Strybog the wind god. Almost none of it was written down before Christianity erased the institutional memory. What survives comes from folk tales, linguistic traces, and archaeological evidence. Baba Yaga is the most famous surviving fragment of a mythology that was systematically destroyed. In 2014, Keanu Reeves made the name famous when his character in John Wick was called Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. The movie got it wrong. Baba Yaga is not the boogeyman. She is not a mindless monster. She is the woman in the forest who decides whether you deserve to live. She is the test you cannot cheat. She is the old world's way of saying, the truth will judge you, and the truth has iron teeth. A house on chicken legs. A fence of bones. A woman who is neither good nor evil but something older than both. The Slavic world built their most terrifying figure not as a demon but as a mirror. She shows you what you are. And if you do not like what you see, she eats you.